Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Next Level Wholeness. Today, I would like to discuss intermittent fasting. It is something that I recommend for many of my clients, especially once we've done some genetic testing and we discover that it will be really beneficial for many different metabolic issues. So there's currently so much buzz and interest around intermittent fasting. So you might say, why would this be of benefit? And what is it really? Fasting dates back to the earliest humans at a time where the food sources were scarce and irregular, and eating cycled between hunger and feast. The nutritional problem today is food abundance, not scarcity. Intermittent fasting is such a broad term and refers to multiple specific eating patterns. While there are different types of intermittent fasting, such as daily, weekly, and alternate day, the most common involves only eating during a specific window of time each day. We use fasting selectively as a means to manage body weight, remove harmful toxins in the body, and challenge the body's stress response pathways. Some published data reports benefits such as weight loss, improved mental clarity, improved metabolism, better glucose regulation, and the potential to slow natural aging conditions. When fasting continues for more than 24 hours, the body can start to consume lean muscle mass along with stored fat. The stress of fasting without food or intermittently on the body activates autophagy. Autophagy is the body's natural cellular regeneration process. Autophagy literally means self-eating. During autophagy, damaged cells break down, the body recycles their components for energy, and as the building blocks of new cells. Autophagy helps the body remove the harmful and toxic compounds released when cells break down. It recycles damaged proteins and increases the production of ketones. It also removes damaged immune cells and activates stem cells. It plays a key role in preventing disease such as cancer, neurodegeneration, heart disease, and infection. So I'm telling you all this because intermittent fasting causes autophagy. So animal and cell studies have consistently shown that long or short-term fasting increases autophagy and are linked to a delay in aging and a reduced risk of tumors. It has been confirmed in human studies by showing that alternative fasting diets reduce oxidative damage and promotes changes that may be linked to longevity. Each type of intermittent fasting program includes fasting periods that are longer than our standard overnight fast of 8 to 12 hours. Time-restricted intermittent fasting refers to when eating is limited to a certain number of hours each day. An example of this would be an eating window of 8 hours from, say, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Of its many benefits, intermittent or time-restricted fasting works on both sides of the calorie equation. It increases the amount of calories you burn by boosting your metabolic rates, and it reduces the amount of calories you consume by limiting the foods you eat, and limiting the times you eat, really, too. It also helps those who have certain genetic SNPs around appetite and satiety. According to a 2014 review, intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating can help with weight, reporting a weight loss of about 3 to 8% over 3 to 24 weeks. This study also showed that intermittent fasting causes less muscle loss than continued calorie restriction. The most common forms of intermittent fasting are 1. Daily intermittent fasting, where you have an eating window of about 4 to 10 hours with a fasting of about 14 to 20 hours. 2. A 24-hour fast or alternate day fasting. So fasting for 24 hours, typically 1 to 2 times per week. 3. A modified alternate day fasting. This is on the 24-hour fasting days, 1 to 2 times a week, you only consume 500 calories per day. So instead of eating nothing, you eat 500 or less calories per day. Or 4th is the 5-2 protocol. This is restricted calories to 20 to 25% of your usual intake for 2 non-consecutive days in a 7-day time frame, and consuming calories as per usual for these other 5 days. Alternate day fasting has positive effects on weight loss, body weight, cardiovascular measures, and molecular markers of aging when it was assessed in a randomized controlled trial amongst healthy adults without obesity or diabetes. And this report was a study published on August 27th, 2019 in Cell Metabolism. One study found that 4 weeks of time-restricted eating during an 8-hour window lowered bad LDL cholesterol by over 10% in both men and women. So that is like time-restricted, where you just eat, like your eating windows from 11 a.m. till like 7 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So lowering bad cholesterol by 10%. The amount of glucose or sugar in your blood is important for your health, and having too much sugar in your blood can lead to diabetes and can damage several parts of the body. There were several studies that have reported that 30% reduction in blood sugar levels with time-restricted eating. They've also shown that different types of intermittent fasting may significantly reduce insulin levels and improve insulin sensitivity. Alternate day fasting, this plan is where you fast every other day, but eat what you wish on the non-fasting days, bearing in mind that keeping healthy food choices is key. This plan can lower your risk to diabetes and heart disease, and is also a powerful weight loss tool. On fasting days, you drink as much non-calorie beverages as you like: black coffees, teas, water, seltzers. However, be aware that even no-calorie drinks that are artificially sweetened can trigger an insulin response and negate the many benefits of fasting. So try to kind of stick to, the black coffees, teas, water, seltzers. If you're following a modified alternate day fasting approach, you're also allowed to eat about 500 calories on the fasting days, or like we mentioned before, 20 to 25% of your energy requirements. This plan is very effective for weight loss, whether you fast totally or you just do the 500 calories. They found in studies that overweight and obese adults have shown that they may lose 3 to 8% of their body weight in 2 to 12 weeks. The alternate day fasting and daily calorie restriction are equally effective in reducing harmful belly fat and inflammatory markers in obese individuals. In 2016, a review study concluded that alternate day fasting may be superior to daily calorie restriction diets, given that it is easier to stick to, produces greater fat loss, and preserves more muscle mass. Furthermore, combining alternate day fasting, or I keep using alternate day fasting, but intermittent fasting even, and endurance exercise may cause twice as much weight loss than alternate day fasting alone, and 6 times as much weight loss as endurance exercise alone. One study showed favorable changes in leptin, which is the satiety hormone, and ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, on these fasting plans. Animal studies have shown that a modified alternate day fasting resulted in decreased amounts of the hunger hormone and increased amounts of the satiety hormone. It also does not cause compensatory hunger as much as continuous calorie restriction. So compensatory hunger is increased hunger in response to calorie restriction, causing people to eat more than they usually eat when they finally allow themselves to eat. Alternate day fasting definitely has unique effects on body composition. It decreases weight and fat mass. It is more effective in preserving muscle mass. It's more effective at this than any other weight loss method. In benefits for type 2 diabetes, the benefits for type 2 diabetes lies in the calorie restriction and weight loss. And it might have may cause mild reduction in risk factors for type 2 diabetes amongst overweight and obese individuals. It seems more effective at lowering insulin levels and reducing insulin resistance while having a mild effect on blood sugar control. Amongst pre-diabetic individuals, 8 to 12 weeks of alternate day fasting has shown to decrease fasting insulin by 20 to 31%. Alternate day fasting is a good option to reduce heart disease risk factors. Most of the studies on the subject range from 8 to 12 weeks and are done on obese or overweight individuals. So the most common benefits for heart health include reduced waist circumference, 2 to 2.8 inches or 5 to 7 centimeters, decreased blood pressure, lower LDL cholesterol concentrations like 20 to 25%, increased numbers in the large, fluffy LDL particles, and reduction in the dangerous, small, dense LDL particles, decreased blood triglycerides up to 30%. Some may worry that like the fasting and its effect on starvation mode or drop in resting metabolic rate. Well, the technical term for this is adaptive thermogenesis. And alternate day fasting really does not seem to cause this drop. It does not seem to decrease the metabolic rate in the same way as continuous calorie restrictions do. This may be because alternate day fasting really helps to preserve muscle mass. It is good for normal weight individuals too, and the benefits include increased fat burning, decreased fasting insulin, and a 4% decrease in fat mass. And that was done in a 3-week study with individuals following a very strict alternate day fasting diet with 0 calories on fasting days. It's an outstanding safety profile and does not increase binge eating or increase or raise your risk of weight regain after you stop the diet. The 5-2 or 4-3 diet may help reduce insulin resistance, asthma, seasonal allergies, heart arrhythmias, menopausal hot flushes, reduces CRP, which is your C-reactive protein, and that is an important marker for inflammation. The 5-2 or 4-3 diet may have several impressive health benefits, which include reduced inflammation and improvements in blood lipids. It may also help reduce belly fat and maintain muscle mass during weight loss. For the 5-2 fasting diet or days, how kind of would you eat? So generally there are 2 meal patterns that people follow. 3 small meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or 2 slightly bigger meals, only lunch and dinner. Your calorie intake is limited to 500 calories for women and 600 calories for men. So it makes sense to use your calorie budget wisely, focusing on high fiber, high protein foods that make you feel full without consuming too many calories. Soups are a great option on fasting days. Studies have shown that they make you feel fuller than the same ingredients in original form. A few examples of suitable foods on fasting days include generous portions of vegetables, natural unsweetened yogurt with berries, boiled or baked or poached eggs, goldfish lean meat, cauliflower rice, soups, black coffee and tea, still or sparkling water. Be sure to drink lots of pure water during fasts. I like to say the solution to pollution is dilution. It's not really what I like to say. I stole this from another practitioner. So look online for some delicious meal plans for this 5-2 diet. As with any healthy eating programs, avoid processed foods, artificial sweeteners, sugar, and sugary drinks. And know that once you buy fruit juice, it's really just sugar, water, very, very high glycemic index in bottled fruit juices. It's normal to be hungry or feel a little weaker during the first few fasts, especially if you're not used to fasting. If you repeatedly feel faint or ill, you should probably stop the diet. Even though intermittent fasting is very safe for healthy, well-nourished people, it does not suit everyone. And there are certain people that should be avoiding this. And these individuals include individuals with a history of eating disorders, individuals who frequently experience drops in blood sugar levels, pregnant women, nursing mothers, teenagers, children, and individuals with type 1 diabetes, people who are malnourished, underweight, or have no nutrition deficiencies. Should anyone experience adverse effects from fasting, I suggest that you speak to your health professional so that your program can be modified specifically to suit your individual needs. There are 5 common mistakes made in intermittent fasting. 1, not eating the suggested foods. So in order to fast successfully, you generally need to be able to control your appetite for long stretches of time. So food choices will make this practice either easy or hard. Metabolism works like a hybrid car. For fuel, you can either burn glucose or fats, and the byproduct of fat metabolism, ketones. Carbohydrate reliance can make fasting difficult as our blood glucose is constantly fluctuating, and in turn then your appetite will be constantly fluctuating. An easy way to fast is to follow a low carbohydrate diet where you focus mainly on quality proteins, fats, and low carb vegetables. This way, you tend to stay satiated for longer and metabolic flexibility is achieved. I still like to include pretty much all vegetables, but your leafy greens, colorful Mediterranean types vegetables, the more colorful, the better. Not being prepared is number 2. Failing to plan. Intermittent fasting goes against the normal eating patterns, and if you're participating in daily fasting, then you're eating at odd times like breakfast at 11, dinner at 4, and in a standard 9-to-5 job, this can be a challenge, so preparation is required. Failing to prepare for eating during your window can cause you to make poor food choices, or you could get stuck eating later in the evening or binge eating. So not eating enough calories. That's number 3. Restricting your calories too much can have certain negative consequences. For athletes with activity levels and goals, their activity levels and goals should be taken into consideration when choosing a plan to support and enhance performance, muscle growth, and recovery. If you struggle to consume enough calories in your allotted time window or eating window, then you might have to consider extending that window a little bit to suit your specific goals and optimize your health. Number 4, restricting all day and binging at night. Waiting until the end of the day to consume all of your or the majority of your calories may trigger binge eating. This could lead to consuming more food than you normally would have had you spread your meals out throughout the day. And 5, overeating in the evening or too close to bedtime can also kind of result in poor sleep, disrupt circadian rhythm. 5, making exceptions for what you consume outside your eating window. That's a common mistake. To make things simple, anything with calories and therefore energy breaks a fast. This means no butter in your coffee, no glass of wine before bed. Really, guys, a true fast includes water only. Herbal teas and black coffees, if you have no caffeine, are okay as they do not contribute to overall calorie intake. Remember that intermittent fasting is not a license to eat anything you wish during allotted eating times. Healthy, nutritious food choices are crucial for the health benefits that intermittent fasting can bring. Continue to build physical activity into your week. Aim for at least 150 minutes of exercise per week. Incorporate high-intensity training, which has been shown to be a time-effective tool to reduce abdominal and visceral adiposity, as well as improve insulin sensitivity and building muscle, along with cardio and resistance training. Hydration is very important. Whichever fasting program you choose must be best suited to your lifestyle and one that you can comply with fully. And know that it is going to require a shift for you, as it will differ from the normal eating patterns of those around you. I personally love the smaller eating window and find that it works well for my schedule. As mentioned before, the success comes from planning. The famous saying, failing to plan is really planning to fail, is very appropriate for any healthy eating plan. but is specifically for the intermittent fasting plan. Make the right choice for you and your health, and seek the advice of a qualified practitioner if you need additional support and information. And as always, guys, thank you, guys, thank you so much for listening and giving me 20 minutes of your time again today. As always, have a next level healthy, happy day. Until next time, guys, stay well. Bye.